curling fans, and welcome to Surrey, BC and the Cloverdale Curling Club. You're tuning in for the 2026 Canadian Mixed Doubles Championship. My name's Brian Chick, and with Felix Asselin, no stranger to this event, played in it a bunch of times. We're in for a matchup between the champions from the Yukon territory playing out of Whitehorse, Tyler Williams and Aline Gonsalves, taking on the BC champs in Cody Tanaka and Sarah Loken. Felix, how are you doing today? And any initial thoughts on this matchup? Just about to get underway here. Just waiting to see the results of that last zone draw.
Yeah, that works. That's okay.
Looks like BC will have the hammer to start, so it'll be Aline Gonsalves who's going to get us started.
Little ad.
It's pretty big.
Lots of ad.
Through.
Yeah. Super ad there. Okay.
A little heavy out of the gate from Aline. There's Cody Tanaka, and this may look familiar to you if you watch Under the Briar. He was skipping Team BC. Both of these teams are provincial or territorial champions.
Line's good. Line's good. All you. Line's good.
Sarah Loken here playing the intern around just to the top of the 8-foot.
I grabbed an extra, spun a half a rock more after you stopped sleeping.
But I
Yeah. I just thought easy top 4 on my own.
Look a little slow.
keep it straight. Straight.
Top 12.
Okay, Brian, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. Hello, Felix.
Hey, sorry about that. It's a good thing I
Had a
curl
little,
normally don't connect microphones, I guess.
little technical difficulties, but we've now got our other voice in the booth, Felix Asselin. How many times did you play in the mixed doubles nationals?
Not very.
Ooh, good question. I think I've played, I want to say 3. I think I've
Pretty
played
familiar with
the
the event.
last 2. Yeah, yeah, it's the same format as used to be. I think it's great. There's a lot of good teams, and then there's all the provincial representatives, so it's always good to see everybody there.
Do you want to try this? Another one?
As we were saying, Cody
Or we
Tanaka
can
was
just
your
try
skip
guard or
at the
something.
Briar. You might have faced him there, but also he also just won the BC mixed 4-player mix last week. Also the provincial mixed doubles champion. He's having a pretty good year.
Like they're
Yeah,
playing.
it's Cody's
What
year
are
in
they
BC.
playing, down
He's
the
won
middle?
every single provincials I think he's
Potentially,
entered
because
so
that's
far.
pretty
So
much open now, right?
Yeah. You just want to
I don't know
guard
if
that?
there's another one
Sure.
coming up that he
We
could
can
play in,
replace
but
it,
watch out if he's in it.
Otherwise, you could just put a second one there.
So a really nice shot there from Tyler Williams to get that red onto the button after a miss from Gonzalez, but
Line's good.
BC unable to answer, and Williams going to throw another guard or another one in the way here.
One.
Yeah, curl. Line's good. Line's good. Over and up.
Pardon?
So guards in the way just over the hog line, but it does the trick.
Yeah, that's a good shot. They're sitting. It's basically like 3 guards. 2 of them are in front of their rock, and one's behind, which in a way acts as a guard.
Yeah, and that BC chip on the center line just makes that center guard even wider. Now, Cody Tanaka just trying to clear things up so there might be an easier way in later. I always find the thing with mixed doubles is that these ends move so quickly. Later isn't that far away rather.
What do you think?
So
Like,
you have to act quickly.
We could.
they're
Yeah,
powerful late.
mixed doubles got that feeling
no,
where,
they're
like,
kinda in
say there were
between
9 ends, you basically got 3 that
Ideally, it's
you're
like coming
in the driver's seat, and it seems like the other team is chasing. And then there's 3 that you're chasing, and then there's probably 3 that are around even, and those are the interesting ones most of the time, where like all the rocks are in play, and you could get a big end, you could give up a big steal.
A little more.
So the
We
Yukon
have-
team will want to capitalize on this one
tight.
as being one of the ones they
Go
have a
on,
good
go
setup.
away.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, from something we find ourselves saying all the time is how important it is to get those first shots in good places. If you make the first couple, then you're in control for the rest of the end.
Feeling like a little bit
Just
of
a little
ice.
tight.
Yeah, we used to say that the most important shot might have been the first one. It's
I got a 4.
it turns the entire end around if you make it or you miss it.
So again, Cody Tanaka here playing cleanup, trying to create a bit of space. Running yellow straight back onto red, just misses. And the shooter will roll out. In the few games we've seen so far, there has been a pretty severe difference in how early teams are willing to start throwing the big weight. There are teams that try to draw themselves out of trouble,
Yeah, I
and
think
some that
you
try to
wanna
hit themselves out of
Fight
trouble.
center line is ideal, right?
Okay.
Seems like most of the time in doubles, it's a lot more draws than hits, but those big weight hits can be very important.
And I mean, you're not going to hurt yourself by coming into the tight, right? Tight.
Yeah, I just think you need to time them well. You have to have a good use of your draw weight in mixed doubles, but once in a while, a good peel at the right spot can really turn things in your favor. The better teams are better at both, obviously.
Line's okay.
2-3.
Yeah, go there.
Saw Jennifer Jones and Brent Lang yesterday. It seemed that they were
3.
a little quicker to throw the runbacks than a lot of other teams might have been.
So for curling.
Yeah.
Hopefully we just touch the yellow.
This one's over curling just a bit. They missed the rub, and that rock on the button now fully exposed.
Should leave the team from British Columbia a fairly makeable shot. One they should be comfortable with for one. Can't score two, but you can at least get
a little bit more
the first point on the
middle, but
scoreboard.
This side seems to be over curling quite a bit more.
Yeah.
Like every rocket I saw them playing also curling. Your rocket will curling.
So here's Sarah Loken with the last rock of the end, just trying to get a piece of that pinhole.
Clean. Oh,
Tanaka on the sweep.
okay, line's close. Yep.
There's
Yep.
a little bit
Yep.
of frost
Yep.
that I noticed here.
Wait, whoa.
Looks to be on a good line.
Set 20L.
Right up to the nose. That is 1 point on the board for the team from BC. We're going to take a minute while they reset, and we will be back in just a second.
Yeah, it looked like it was going hard and then it kind of stopped, but it really just like more, yeah, more like our side. Yeah.
All right, 1 point on the board for BC. Second end getting underway. Sarah Logan looking to basically play the same shot she just made. Draw right to the button, around the cover to the backing.
Line's good.
Ideally, you do want to leave this rock a little in front of the tee line, wouldn't you say?
Little bit of room.
I would say actually it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to force, it's probably better to freeze right on the face of the red rock. And if you're trying to steal, then you probably want to stay something like top four, top button. They're just different strategies and maybe different even preference for the players. But this one is a really good shot. You basically eliminate the back red rock from scoring.
Gonsalves for the Yukon team playing out of Whitehorse. Beautiful club up there. Been there before.
Line's okay. For line. Line.
BC playing out of Victoria and Swaswassen. I'm sure I didn't say that right, but
Line's good.
See?
out of the Victoria area, shall we say.
Yep. Keep it going. Yep.
Yukon is maybe one of the only places I've never been in a curling club, actually.
I had the good fortune to have to travel up there for work a bunch of years ago, and almost everywhere I go in Canada, I always seek out the curling club, so I did get over to throw a few rocks.
Nice.
See it right now. Speed's good. Okay.
Cody Tanaka just trying to find that button once again. If they can freeze this, then it will be really difficult to remove, but not a bad spot there either. Now that back yellow pretty well protected, red's got to find a way in.
The opposite.
It's a good start to this end. All three rocks were drawn in the forefoot, so this is one of the ends that I was talking about where you could see some big points on the scoreboard one way or the other, like a steal or a big score by the team with hammer, so this could be interesting.
The yellow here. Okay.
You like that?
Yeah, sure. Back 8 at least.
Close. Oh. Oh.
Back 8. Back
Back
12.
8 weight, just trying to rattle these yellows around.
Girl. Girl.
Okay.
Is that good or bad?
Not
I'm not
bad.
quite sure yet.
It's probably depending on the next shot, but I wouldn't say it's that. It's not bad.
Do you get there?
Obviously, they put the yellow rocks what seems like 2 shots, but they've kind of got 2 angles at them, so not sure you can necessarily guard.
Doing the same?
You may, but maybe this opens the door for the other side of the sheet, and then they've just guarded you. So it's not bad.
Okay, a little heavy. Like back 4.
Yeah, I think the thing that Yukon there is happy about is to release the backing, get the second freeze unlocked.
I think this is why you didn't see BC throw up a guard. They just added another rock on top of the pile. At least that one is fully guarded and has all the backing. So that yellow rock is, in a way, can be your best shot of all 3 of them that are in the rings right now, even if the other 2 are scoring.
Which was fine. It was 96.
Looks like Tyler Williams going to try to make a play on the short
That
red
more.
rays, red, yellow, yellow,
Back
just to
12.
even rattle them around a little bit more.
Back 12.
Line's close.
Gotta give props to Tyler for having 2 sliding device,
Girl.
which is kind of cool.
Passive just got a chip of this. Would have liked a slightly larger piece.
It was close. He was close from tapping it onto the shot rock, which would have released the back yellow. Then red might have been second and third shot.
Are they 2 or?
They're true.
This is the second game for both teams, so they have had the opportunity to play on this surface. They also had practices, so they're both 0-1.
Like we needed to take that back yellow.
Team from BC lost to the New Brunswick provincial champions, and the guys from Whitehorse lost to Laura Neal and Scott McDonald, who are also a pretty solid team.
It's fine.
Yeah, and if you're following this format, there's only 12 teams that qualify for the second round or the playoffs if you want. I think they have a different name for the teams that are ranked 9 to 12, but it's hard to get into those playoffs. The games come at you fast, and you can't lose that many of them. So those 2 teams at 0-1 are really looking at winning this game and trying just bringing it back to 500.
Yeah, 28 teams in the event, pools of 7. So you have to play 6 games, and probably any more than 2 losses almost immediately will really hurt your playoff chances.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a magic number to start the week. You look at it and so we can't have more than 2. So one of them is going to go to 1-1, obviously. So they'll put the ship back on track, or the train, I guess. Not the ship. No tracks for ships, but.
So the winner of each pool directly into the semifinals. The next 8 best records overall. So doesn't matter what pool, next 8 best records qualify. So likely
Maybe
a couple
this is
5-1s and a couple of 4-2s.
Well, I mean, that cuts it down to 1 if you wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not sure if this is related to the amount of sheets at this particular curling club, but am I mistaking that this is a smaller field than it used to be?
Curl if you can. Yep.
You may be right. I'd have to double check that, but like I said, 28 teams in this one. They may have done 32 in the past.
feel like there was in
Same spot?
30s,
Yeah,
but maybe
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
I think it's essentially.
Do you want a broom or do you want a sweep?
So it is. I'm running, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
This is being played at a curling club, not an arena, but you see their bleachers have taken over one sheet on the sheet A side as we were just looking at it. 5 games going on at once. If you want to keep up on all those results, you can go to curling.ca/scoreboard. That'll give you the whole schedule, standings, and of course the scores.
Okay, try out. Normal plus.
Yeah, so
Well,
quick
yeah,
check, you are
whatever
correct.
we- like,
Last
you
year
don't
was
need to
32
with it,
teams.
right? We're only ever getting rid of the one.
Playing a 7-game round robin in the field, but still with only 12 advancing to the playoffs.
Just means that you need to get on to your game quicker. You can't have a day off. That's for sure.
Whoa. Yep. Yep.
So this being the second day of competition, more games Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then playoffs will be Thursday and Friday.
Figure it out.
Almost got the perfect angle on this one.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, for sure one yellow, and I think it is one.
Looks
red.
like it's at least one, maybe two. It's hard to tell from this angle.
Red's closer. Yeah, it's one yellow for sure. Okay, one yellow.
Looks like Cody
Just
Tanaka will
one.
concede that. Just the one on the board, so 2-0 for BC. After 2, almost a great shot there from Aline Gonzalez, but we'll take a quick break. They'll set up the third, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Just there, you saw the pre-placed stones that are so typical of mixed doubles. You have to have the center guard and that rock in the back 4. And just those few extra seconds to get those rocks set up allows for a slightly longer break between ends. Normally the timers are at a 1 minute, but for mixed doubles, they give you an extra 30 seconds to get all the rocks set up.
Where? Line's close. Yep.
Yes, and in the mixed doubles, it's probably even
Okay, line's okay.
more true than it is
Close.
for four-person curling. Time is always a factor.
It does seem like, in theory, it should be a little bit easier to call those first few shots because it's almost always going to be a draw around, draw tap. But, of course, once those angles start becoming into a play and you have to figure out, are they looking good for us? Are they looking bad? And now what do we do about it? Those discussions can chew into your time clock pretty quickly.
Wait's there.
Yeah, normally you have a skip to relay that information to the other 3 players, but in this case, with only 2, you mostly see for most of the team somebody throwing, somebody sweeping. So they have to go and look at the angles and who's shot and stuff like that. So you lose a lot of time by doing that, and next thing you know, you're running left and right.
Pardon?
Yeah, you will see some teams have one teammate holding the broom and the player pop up to sweep his or her own rock. Sometimes they will have the sweeper ready to go, like Cody Tanaka and Sarah Loken here.
Top 4.
Yeah, there's a few ways of doing it. There's a couple teams that have the same person sweeping all the rocks, theirs and their teammates. There's some teams that do like this BC team and they just sweep the other person's rocks, which is might be easier on the sweepers because you only sweep half of them. And then there's teams that in the past, there's less and less now, but that just hold the broom and the person throwing just catches up to their own rock and sweeps it after throwing it.
Okay. Are they behind T?
Yeah.
I said it yesterday, but I always found when you're throwing and you don't have somebody putting a broom down for you, it actually adds a whole step to your kind of pre-shot routine about trying to figure out where exactly you need to aim, and then whether there's some sort of landmark on the backboards, whether it's a Kleenex box or a water bottle or something, or the edge of this rock, or just taking that extra second to figure out what am I aiming at actually really threw a wrench into my regular routine.
Exactly, and then line is maybe even more important.
Can't touch anything.
Ooh.
little stumble there from Aline, but yeah, no burnt rock, a little break dancing, but she got away with it.
Yeah. That was acrobatic. Sometimes you don't know if these are going to touch, so you're sort of ready to move your feet away, but also ready to keep sweeping if they make it by, and then you sort of get tangled in your own feet.
Yeah, if you're not sure whether it's going to make contact, you're not quite sure where the next step's supposed to go. I don't know if you saw that. Cody Tanaka wanted to throw a red rock for his next shot, but Sarah wouldn't let him.
I actually missed it, but I believe you.
He was in the hack with the red one, ready to go. But
so this is a good setup for BC.
Pile. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that yellow is going to be hard to remove. It's going to take several shots where you're going to have to make some precise hits.
Do that as well.
I think so.
Probably have to burn one of the next three to release the yellows and then find a way to make contact on the next two just to get a score.
What do you think for the weight?
This is definitely advantage to LOK and Tanaka.
Yeah, that one that Cody just threw isn't going anywhere for a little while. I think Tyler here is going to throw some weight, try to rattle those around, see if he can make some space, as we keep saying, but maybe not. I expected a lot more weight on that one.
Not sure if that guard's not in the way, so maybe they're just throwing less weight, which still seems like it might overcurl. I gotta hold the line.
Yeah, I think you could have thrown it harder and hit with the piece you could see, but I think he wanted to keep his shooter around there to maybe have another weigh in later.
You could have got them sort of all moving, but that yellow at the top would have stayed there.
Yeah, it's just so nestled in there.
So now Cody's probably just looking at throwing a good guard on it. A score here removes an end for the team from UConn, so they'd be happy with a steal of only one, but they've got a chance right now to steal a big amount of points.
Sitting 3 already. Another one in the way here would really put the pressure on the team from the UConn. Just hanging.
And the drop paths are also. Ooh, he made it the fancy way. Might have overcurled the touch with the rub, but.
What am I doing here?
So similar shot available, I think. Do you play the soft weight, or do you throw it a little bit harder now that it might be a bit open? Or do you try to run the yellow straight back?
So what kind of weight?
They might even do it with the red one. I'm not sure that. Yeah, I'm not sure the angle is I guess it's there with the red rock to get them all moving. The yellow rock, you can get them all moving, but then you're sending a yellow, so there's not much good that can happen with sending a yellow.
Yeah, and the fact that this red is a little bit off the center and coming in from the side, I was going to say you might be able to chip that one off the button, but I think the other yellow is in the way.
I think there's a good angle here. We saw it briefly. I think there's a good angle where they can get all the yellows moving. It's not far off. We've just rubbed it.
Okay.
Now BC really going to put the screws to them and throw another one in the pile and say figure that out.
Yeah, definitely. This is where you change gears and you go all in. Nothing can go wrong at this point, so try and make this shot as good as possible and grab a steal.
Nice shot he sees, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same situation.
I think it's similar. I think a hair similar over here, but my hand a little bit.
With one more to come
Okay.
in here, the third end.
Room right now. Line's closed.
Sarah Loken looking to just add to that big pile of yellow rocks on the forefoot.
You could probably even freeze the face of the top button.
Curl. Curl.
And then, I don't know.
That is problems for the team from the Yukon. You got to throw a absolute missile. You might be able to get 2 or 3 moving, but I don't see a way you score.
Yeah, I think that's the only option too.
I think you gotta cut your losses here. You gotta accept that you're gonna give up a steal. You're keeping hammer, so if you were to find a way to give up only 1 and keep hammer, then you come back with 2 in the next end. It's 3-2. So maybe like a nose hit on the previously thrown rock. Maybe you get 2 or 3 moving, and you might give up only a steal of 1.
Yeah, I think that's probably your best option here. And like we are, you do enough games, you say the same things over and over again. But mixed doubles, not uncommon to have big swings both ways, scores of 2, 3, 4, both with hammer or without. We saw 2 steals of 3 back-to-back yesterday to bring. What game was that? That was Jones against the other team from Quebec, Saint-Cartier and Fordon. They stole 3 back-to-back
I think they did
ends,
the best.
Extra yellow?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably
sorry,
the
go
best
ahead,
result
Dave.
here.
Allie, do you want to take the...
Steal of 2, and you stay in the game with that. You come back with 2 or 3 in the next end. Maybe even use your power play, and you're still in it.
I saw that you're leaving me, so.
Yep, so it is 4-0 for BC. We'll have the 4th end in just a minute.
this side.
laps ready to get back underway here. It looks like the power play may be in order or not.
I think this is a good decision. Teams have gotten used to this over the years, where they used to keep the power play for the later ends, but you won't use the power play if you don't make it to the later end. So might as well use it now.
Yeah, you see those rocks set up onto the 8-foot line instead of up the middle, and that just changes the look of everything for the entire end. Nice chip shot there from Sarah Loken, though. Get that corner guard out of the way and try to bring the play back to the middle.
Yeah, that's obviously the standard play against the power play, especially in a 4-up position for the BC team. So a great shot. It's made more and more these days, and it kind of puts less pressure on the team without Hammer to chase the ones that are around the corner guard.
Pretty much there.
We saw this work yesterday a couple of times, just changing up the look for the team that has been making all of the come arounds. They're playing really well to the 4-foot. If you could just make it look a little bit different, we're playing now a lot more inside out. You're playing to the wings. Just changing the look was an effective move yesterday.
Yeah, and it also gives the team that's trying to get away from the corner guard another rock at the end that they can draw around. They could draw around around that top 12, and pressure's back on UConn. So you gotta. This is the standard start to the end. So far, the two shots have been made perfectly.
Will this one sneak by? It doesn't, but it's still a really good result for BC.
Yeah,
Gets
very
the guard
good
out of the
result.
way and rolls back to the middle.
And sit here.
I don't know if that was the intent or not, but it's certainly a great result.
I wouldn't think it was the intent, but it definitely is. Yes, a very good result. Even if UConn makes this perfectly, they'll lie to. But then on the power play, you're looking at. You're happy to give up 2. So and in this case, they could do even better than that. They find one double or a hit and roll out, and it's a good force, and they'll be 3 up going to the 5th end.
Yeah, we're playing the 4th right now, so this is coming up on halftime. But I think the Yukon would be happy to take their 2 here just to get on the board and kind of stop the bleeding. Obviously, you'd like more than that, but that would certainly make them, give them a little bit of hope going into the second half.
Oh, definitely. And then not only that, then the next end you start with the very first rock of the end, and if you can make it perfectly where you go like top button, the setup is actually in your favor.
So Cody Tanaka makes the hit but rolls out.
Yeah, come sweep.
So do you use your corner guard or you go around the stagger?
That is definitely a corner guard. It's definitely on the. You don't want to go too far to try and go too far out there, or you might run out of rings. So
Like a 22 on
you probably want to play it a bit safe with line on this one.
Yeah, you probably aren't going to be totally buried, but the important thing is that you get to be second shot and that there is no easy double.
I think it's
Perhaps
close.
a little.
I think it's close.
Yeah, that's a perfect spot.
T-line. Little more.
Oh,
Back 8.
It looks a bit hot, so it's got to put the brakes on.
Is it going to hang on? Looks like it's still a biter, but probably not second shot.
No, but very important it stayed in, because you can still make a double at the top and get your 2 that way. So it's very important that stayed in. BC will try and hit Cody will try and hit the top rock and split the rings. make it as hard as possible for the opponents to get this double that we were just talking about.
Tanaka wants to hit and roll a little bit away. I think he would have liked a bit more separation than that. That's a very makeable double.
Are you throwing kind of normal?
It is. It gives one right back, which I think you're happy that you have a shot to force on a power play.
So if Tyler can make this double, we'll probably see Sarah Loken take on the long, almost as long as you can get for a crosshouse double, good 12 feet apart. But they wouldn't be too sad giving up 2 here, taking a 2-point lead into the break.
Yeah, if you told them that at the beginning of the game, I think they would have taken it.
Has to get low on that, into the side. Does not remove the second rock, but they do count second and third. I was a little surprised he played that turn. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Interesting spot there.
I would say that. I would just put that into whatever his preference is. I think it was around a half rock on both turns, so whatever one he feels like making is the right turn.
No, I don't disagree with that. I just felt it looked a little bit more natural playing the in turn. You get the springier roll off the first hit.
Yeah, but then at the out turn you can hit it thinner and for the same result, so you could sort of see it both ways if you want.
Yeah, either way, had to hit it just a bit thin.
Yeah. Now in this case, it actually rolled to like a big biter, so they're gonna hit it, but they can't hit it on the nose, or they won't outscore the back red rock. So they have to sort of roll this one in.
Looks like she's gonna get some action off it, but is it too much?
Spin?
Maybe.
I think she got it.
They'll have
I think
a good
she's
look at
second
that.
shot.
Well, I think this is the easiest way to do it anyway.
If it made it in, it's a good shot.
So which turn am I throwing?
There still looks like there's a double there, but this one's even thinner than the last one to stick in the rings.
Kind of have to take it on, though. You have to, especially if yellow's second shot, you have to take this on and trying to make it a 2-point game.
Try and hit like a third.
Aline Gonzalez has not had a ton of easy shots with her final stone. She's been close on a bunch of them, but needs a good one here.
So I'm trying to aim for the edge of that red rock there.
I like that.
Probably looking at trying to hit a third or even a quarter of the first yellow.
Weight's good.
Line's okay. Yep.
Danger here is to hit, say, like a half rock and spin back up and then only score one.
Keep it going. Yep.
Hard on the sweep, trying to keep this straight into the side. Nudges it. Did it go far enough? I don't think so from that angle.
No, it's hard
They
to
might
tell,
throw a
but I think
stick on it.
it's a yellow. Yeah, just to make sure. Might as well. You're there.
Yeah, I think it is a one yellow.
Sometimes you never know. That maybe the hole in the middle isn't quite drilled in the middle. Yeah. Doesn't. Okay.
Well, not the case this time again. They agreed with the overhead camera. They have conceded the point, so it is 5-0 for BC. Tanaka and Loken. We're going to the 4th to 5th end break. We're going to take a couple extra minutes here, and we'll be back with you
Much like a knife.
on the other side.
I guess it should have.
More throw, please.
Thank you for making moments like these possible.
And we're getting ready to get the second half started here. Fifth end about to begin. Loken and Tanaka out of Victoria and Swawasan. You got it better that time. Curling clubs in BC, the provincial champions, with a 5-0 lead going into the half. The difference has all been just every time Aline Gonsalves gets in the hash, she just doesn't have a whole lot to look at. Had a bit of a chance on that last one in 4. Overcurled just a couple of inches and no points on the board for the team out of the Yukon.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, they had a chance there. They was definitely there for 2. Didn't miss it by that much, but sadly it adds up to another point. So you're looking at shaking it off for the second half. And as we said earlier, sometimes in mixed doubles, for some reason, it's hard to explain why when you're playing it, but it just slips away. So you got to hold that thought and say that it's possible for you to come back from a 5-point deficit. And just got to start by getting on the scoreboard, and then who knows.
So getting the fifth underway. Sarah Loken, we're back into, I think, traditional curling. I didn't see the setup. You might see the BC
Obviously
guys hold on to that power play for a little bit. Use it defensively later on if they have to.
Curling, line's good though.
Yeah, that was exactly my thought. They're in a position to hold on to it, to maybe get to the 7th or 8th end and move everything to the side and have an easier time to score 1. Whereas, obviously, the aim of the previous power play was to generate a bit more offense.
You tap it once the line's good.
Okay, so just on the side, right?
Pretty good opening move there from Sarah Loken.
Line's okay. I think it's a little heavy.
Yeah, T back 4.
Yeah, she's been good on that first shot, which, like we said, it might be the most important shot at the end in a way. It's not the one that necessarily puts the points on the scoreboard, but it's definitely making it harder on the other team. That's also a great shot, so a good start.
Yeah, that first shot, if it's made well consistently, really sets the tone for how the rest of the end can kind of unfold. But, like you said, great shot there from Gonsalves, too, to lock another one on. And now we'll see that shot a third time in a row. This one much tighter to the guard.
Okay, sorry.
Would you just like to
Probably
jiggle?
come down and tap
Try
the
to
yellow
open
one
this.
back. It's can't remove it yet, but it's if you could lie 3 around it, it's definitely not
Yeah, I thought it
bad. It's at the one of their better
You like
start
that?
of this this game
Try
for
to maybe just
the Yukon squad.
even if you just kind of angle on the yellow. It's
Big
a
ad
big
there.
tap. Hack,
Yeah, well,
hack, hack.
Gonna have to curl.
Just too much weight on this one. Well, they said it was hack weight. I didn't actually hear what the call was, but either too much weight or too much ice. Just a reminder, if you want to see what's going on the other sheets, we do have streaming on sheet B, which is Jones and Langs versus Weeks and Steep. Weeks and Steep up 3-2 at halftime there. On A, Christensen, Mosher, Trail, Gionest, and Desjardins 4-2. Wiseman and Smith up 4-3 on Arbuckle and McDonnell. And Tremblay and Lanou up 5-2 on Cinnamon and Tau. Cinnamon and Tau had a big win last night over Peterman and Gallant. So they're clearly playing well.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
trailing that one.
yeah, I saw that earlier today. That's a big win to get.
yeah.
Those are the games you circle at the beginning of the week, and what are your tougher opponents. So for the Alberta team to get a win
Which side?
against
Give me a
Peterman
minute on
Gallant,
the rock.
which is obviously a good team. They don't need introduction. They were at the Olympics, and that's a big win for them for sure.
Not to make excuses, but I have to imagine that both of those guys are just exhausted by now with the amount of travel and games played, and it's just been probably whirlwind for the last 2 months.
Oh, this is gonna be a big run back. Oof, almost.
So close to really good.
Yeah? Like,
Yeah, I mean, just to come back to your point, obviously they've played a lot of curling in the last probably like 2 months, 2 to 3 months even. So obviously they expect the best of themselves every single game, but it's hard to focus for every one of those games and come out with your best performances. And obviously they played a season that was focused towards the Olympics, so this is sort of like bonus curling for them. But they'll be back and they'll win a fair share amount of games this week, and they'll be dangerous.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. They're going to find a way to win some games. But the other thing that was a factor last night was that game didn't get started. It was scheduled for 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. rather. Didn't get on the ice till closer to 10. And for those of us on the East Coast, that meant it was 1 o'clock or about 2:30, almost 3 o'clock by the time it was done. Just that little hiccup in the schedule thanks to the ice, something wrong with the compressor. The ice crew had to deal with it, so everything just got delayed. That can throw you off a little bit too, especially at the end of already a long day.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're from Alberta, so it's not the biggest time change. But some of those teams, if they got here a day early, all the way from BC, I can think about the Newfoundland team of Greg and Jessica, I think. So that team has, a 4.5 hour time change. So it must have felt late game for sure.
And not just the time change, but how many flights do you have to take to get from St. John's to Surrey, BC? You're covering the entire width of the continent. I don't think that's a direct flight.
No, and getting out of St. John's, I can tell you for a fact. I can tell you from experience about 2 weeks ago, getting out of St. John's is a mess. think
Even right now, like
I think it was Kelly Knapp's team were supposed to fly out on I want to say on the Sunday, ended up getting home on the next Friday or something like that. It was something 4 or 5 days late.
yeah, no, I still like the garden better.
Yeah,
I heard
you enjoy
lot
your
of
time at the
stories
Briar.
of those delays.
Yeah,
Similar, I sweat up every
you're super happy to be there, but once it's over, you want to get home for sure.
I remember Brad Gushu always used to talk about that when talking about some of the handicaps of playing out of Newfoundland is that you had to travel for a day and then you could start getting where you're going.
I don't think making contact with anything will ever help.
That's
them,
funny.
right?
now. Curl if you're minimum.
You're always connecting in Montreal or Toronto to get to somewhere in Alberta or BC or wherever it may be, but you always have to start by getting that first flight to Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, you
And
could see like
half the time getting out of St. John's was not that easy.
trying to hit it onto there, all right?
Anyway, we got some action still going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good shot,
still
good
like- I
guard.
think
That
hitting
yellow
this is
rock
all-
is very safe right now because
Yeah.
it's sandwiched between the two red rocks.
Curl a little bit.
It's just gonna try and find a way to removing it.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know if you could chip it. You could probably see about a centimeter of it, but
See my line of vision.
I think you have to take it
You're
on.
trying to use the red rock.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I mean, but this is kind of the shot that Aline's having to throw every end. One of these high hard ones or a very precise angle or just hit the sliver.
Like, I don't think you can throw
And,
enough weight
eventually you got to make one of them.
the
But
hole to get rid of that.
I think I agree with you scoreboard-wise. You have to take this on, even though it's not necessarily a high probability shot. If you can ever make it, you
You're
can probably
basically
put
trying
two
to
on
hit,
the
like
board.
2/3 of that red rock.
Yeah, and that puts you back into this game. It gives you a fighting chance. Playing those last rocks is not easy. Obviously, like you said, she's had tough ones for the entirety of the game so far, and you don't want to look at the stats too much because you know that you've played tough shots and they just, they're all ranked on 4 points. So she's got a chance of erasing a couple of them already and get 2.
Yeah, the skips or the last thrower stats are always a little bit skewed because you can miss by a millimeter and that could be a 0. She's not throwing the pick, so might be doing the run back.
In off.
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa.
It's just a
Might be for 3.
crazy
Oh,
run.
no.
One yellow.
Can't
So
tell if there
another
was a rocket
steal.
there. I can't see it.
Didn't know the target.
Another one.
Yeah, there was, but she just needed to graze it on the way by.
Yeah.
Or I wasn't sure if it was the in-off or the run, but either way, it was extremely precise. And another point on the board for BC, so this one is slipping away. Take a quick break, we'll be right back.
To think and learn to put one foot in front of the other. That with a little hard work, great things will happen. We can go for gold, but what matters most is having fun. We learn from some of the best, improving our skills, building confidence, and making friends that feel like family. We are proud to be the future of curling.
There's your scoreboard, 6-0 for Loken and Tanaka. Williams and Gonsalves will have a hammer playing the 6, but they need to make something happen in a hurry, or this one could be done pretty quick.
Yeah, Loken and Tanaka have been
Minimum, but extra
thieves so
speed.
far. They
Room,
kind of got away with the first end, and actually they were in trouble.
no line
Got
yet.
their score there, and they haven't looked back since.
No line yet.
Sarah's just been deadly with this first shot.
Right to the top of the button, or in some cases just perfectly welded, but always in a good spot that really shrinks that scoring area. And that's what the UConn team has had such trouble with, is that when they go to throw their last one, they have to play to those inches instead of the feet that you sometimes have.
Sometimes you know, obviously they're going to try and give it everything they have, but you could sort of use this if you're the team from UConn, and as a way of getting ready for your next game. You could sort of try and figure out pats and waits for draws, and you could sort of use it in a constructive way for the following games of this event.
Yeah, there are 2 more draws today. I'm sure they'll have another game, and actually they don't. They play at this time tomorrow again, so they have a nice long break. But yeah, 2 more draws
extra
to come.
reason to use this. Yeah, sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
Right. No, I was just gonna say we got 2 more draws to come after this one. They're all gonna be here on the YouTube channel, so you can find us later. I know there is another big game just getting started now, maybe over on TSN, but we're gonna focus on this one for the moment. But yeah, like you said, there are more games to come, and you can try to learn what you can from this one.
Yeah, definitely. This is where you could make a difference for the next one, for sure. BC can't peel as of yet. Obviously, with a 6-point lead, they will once they get a chance, which probably is the next rock.
But this
Probably
setup
play the
already
hit and
looking
roll
better
inside.
for the UConn. Yeah, just Gonzalez made a nice shot there off the little tap on that BC stone, and now if they can get a little hit and roll under, the peel is right now that those rocks are double buried with another center guard. So if they can get a hit and roll under, Cody Tanaka is going to have to go for maybe a double run back triple.
Yeah, that's too bad for that last rock. It came up a bit short. Acts as a guard, so the BC team won't necessarily be happy with that result because it blocks them from making an easier run back. Now there's 2 of them.
This one really has to curl, though. You have to get to the inside of that yellow, and not the result they were looking for. Maybe just a little more weight than was necessary again. Again, we saw this last time. A little too heavy or a little too wide. I'm not sure which version he was looking for.
It's a little more.
Or maybe a combination of both.
Yeah, I think that is one of the challenges.
Heavy and wide.
Yeah, one of the challenges of picking your own broom. That one of the jobs that the skip always has in 4-player curling is knowing how to gauge the ice and exactly where to put the broom. And when you're kind of guessing, and like I said, looking at the water bottles or the Kleenex boxes, it's maybe not quite as precise, and you're not as dialed in on some of those paths. So BC opting not to go for the peel.
What do you like?
Yeah, I was just going to say, because of the fact that they rubbed shot rock and made it even better for BC, they decided not to peel. It's obviously a bit dangerous if UConn was ever to find a way of digging that shot rock out of there, but it's still a very good shot. They left it in a good spot.
You could try.
Yeah, that's almost like defense by offense. It's like, well, if we keep scoring, you're never going to catch up. So.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, defense by offense. Yeah, I like that.
So now you see that situation looking so good for BC that Williams is now, he's going to take on the peel run back. Try to get a lot of those yellows moving. See if they can gain access to that rock on the button.
It's just Billy.
Just gonna remove one. This might be a time where BC does not put the guard back and maybe just hits the 1 ages through onto one of the reds and removes
Does it have to be
the better
this
of the
one,
two
or
reds,
can
which
you
is
do
the
it
top
this
4
way?
one.
It just feels a bit safer.
Yeah, that's the indication that they're looking at right there.
Whatever.
So I'm not sure what they settled on, but I think it was last time they talked about anything, it was the slash hit. But now he's lining up an intern.
So it might be the straight
Still
back
hitting.
on that top 8. Needs to curl a bit, but he's going straight back onto the red. Oh, almost gets the back one for fun.
That's still a very good shot. That yellow rock is very safe right now.
Yeah, I think perhaps what they were worried about is if you made that short slash, the one you're running in probably spins out and could expose
Keep it a little high.
the rock on the button. By playing the straight back one, you really clog up that center line, and as you said, that the button rock is safe. So big draw here
Little hot.
for Tyler Williams. There is a way in to get to the button,
back
but it
12.
has to be perfect.
Well, line's getting tight. Yep.
Back 12.
This is gonna
Back
curl.
12. Come on, light here. Okay.
Could probably hit shot rock, the back 4 rock if you wanted to. Not sure you do, but I think you could if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think you're totally right there. If you just pick that clean and said, go ahead, try to draw the button or tap to the button for 1, that's not a bad result. But I think what Cody indicated there was try to draw or at least just plug that hole.
I'm a bit surprised at that because the only shot for 2 right now would be to angle that top biter into the shot rock. So I think they should probably look at hitting it, and then not sure how their opponents could get more than 1, and it would be a hard draw for 1.
Yeah, the other thing I would consider is try to, maybe they're doing it, is try to draw through that hole with the out turn and just get past that red guard. Get kind of into the top 8-foot area, take away the run.
I think they're trying to plug that in.
That or straight guard, like they maybe could just throw a guard right onto it.
With the guards, and then it would be the angle.
Trying.
This one has to curl a long way, but they do finish from the hog line in.
Yep.
I think you can hold it.
Probably like a normal weight. You like that?
So the raise will still be there for 2.
Yeah.
I think it's still the only thing.
Well, definitely, yeah.
Control.
Still there.
Okay.
You like that?
It's another hard shot, but it's still there for sure.
Maybe one of the more makeable ones she's had, other than that double in the 4th, but like we keep saying, she's not far off on most of these, but just not getting the results.
Hopefully she makes this just to may finish on a high note if this is it for them in this game. Maybe it makes them play another in. I don't know, but You know, I hope she makes this.
Yeah. Oh, it's gone. It's gone.
That one curled a ton. And another steal on the board for BC. That'll make it 7-0, and the gloves come off. Handshakes. That'll be a win for the team from BC. They improve to 1-1. UConn will drop to 0-2. And yeah, any final thoughts on that one, Felix?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game by the BC team of Cody and his partner. So they played well. They positioned their first rock in a good spot. So it was hard for the UConn team to bounce from that. And yeah, they're back on the win side and looking good for the rest of the event.
Yeah, so both of these teams are done for the day, but we will have 2 more games for you tonight. One at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and the other at was it 7? Gotta look at my schedule here.
Yeah, it's hard.
1 second.
It's so hard with the time change, but yes, I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's 7
4 p.m. and 7
Eastern.
p.m. tonight, so that's 7 Eastern and 10 Eastern. So tune in to see us on YouTube. In the meantime, enjoy the Women's Championship, which is going to be on TV probably right now. So we'll see you guys later, and have a good night.
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.